so fly, I'm aligned with the planes. My grind so refined, I got no time for no games. Ask yourself why would I make time for you lames? At all costs, cause I'm a boss. I'll break them off, yeah, gotta break them off.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Prime Time with Alex Stein. Tonight, another somber night, is a 1 week out from the horrible tragedy, and let's welcome our guest, friend of the show, famous voice artist. You've seen him on Dragon Ball Z, Full Metal Alchemist. I mean, too many to even name. The one, the only Vic Mignogna. Vic, how you doing, man?
Hey there. How are you, Alex?
I mean, I'm doing, and I'm not trying to make it about me, but I think that collectively we're all going through it. But I'm not well right now after seeing this and seeing the reaction and kind of contemplating what the future is going to be like. Right now, I'm not doing that great, to be honest.
I think there are a lot of people that would connect with that.
I think so. How are you doing, though? How are you handling it, Vic? Because I know that you're a person of faith. You're a Christian, just like Charlie was. And then you kind of see the spiritual attack. You and I were talking about this, and I know that you really want to articulate this, but we are in a spiritual attack. There's nothing, I don't know how else to describe it besides good versus evil.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, we were talking earlier. I believe with all of my being that every decision, every action, every word, everything anyone does starts right here. Mm-hmm. Before you ever do anything, you think about doing something. Yeah. Or you have a horrible thought and you either dismiss it or you entertain it, or you treat somebody poorly. But it all starts here. And I believe with all my heart that if there were any way to bring Jesus into the equation, to bring faith and some kind of foundational sense of human value, human life, decency, grace, mercy, those things have been extended to all of us. And if people were to just extend that to the others around them, regardless of whether they agree or not. You know what? I didn't even tell you this, but I'm going to tell you guys this. I don't even agree with a lot of the stuff he does.
That's true.
I'm serious.
A fact, he doesn't. No, Vic disagrees a lot with what I do. Yeah.
You do some
way
things.
Too controversial.
Honestly, you do some things that I'm like, ooh, Alex, man. But that doesn't mean I want to hurt you. That doesn't mean that I can't care about you. Yeah. Where did this come from that you have to agree with everything somebody thinks in order to care about them? Yeah, where did that come from? Why do I have to endorse everything you think or believe if I care about you? Why can't I care about you? And because I do, I want to make things better. I want to encourage you. I want to point you in a direction that's going to give you life.
Well, Vic, when you say all this stuff, and I'm not trying to just pinpoint it on you, but you and I, we are different, but we are similar in the fact that we had very loving parents. You obviously have a very loving mother. And I think a lot of this goes back to that. It's not really necessarily based on person's race. It's nature versus nurture. And we have a society where parents are bad. And you know, parents are just not the same as they were when we were growing up. And I think that is why we have such a over-politicized group of anxious young people that realize that their future is very bleak. They can't afford to buy a house. They can't afford to really go to college without going into massive debt. And then even when they get that college degree, there's no guarantee that they're going to have a job. So it's like the younger generation, they're really going through it. I think they're really going through it.
Absolutely. And you know, I was thinking the other day when I was thinking about joining you tonight, I was thinking, you know, if you raise up a child to have faith, mm-hmm. to believe that he is a creation of God and that every other human being is a beautiful creation, precious to God, when that child grows up, they're not going to break the law. They're not going to commit crimes, not because the government tells them they can't.
Yeah.
They're not going to do it because they have a foundational conviction of values and ethics and morals that they live by.
No, you're exactly right.
It's not about passing a bunch of laws.
Well, no, but I could even argue that, like, you know, that would be good with Christianity. That would be good with even, you know, Islam. I'm saying having some sort of faith, because this is the problem with these young people that, and I'm not pro. My point is, I'm just trying to say is if you don't have any spiritual guidance in the world, we don't have a moral society. And I think that's why we teach all these young kids that they evolved from pond scum, that their life is meaningless, that there is no afterlife, which is the opposite of the truth. I think that we need to get into more of the metaphysical and more of the spirituality. And that is the problem, is that we're disconnected from that.
It's much easier to vilify and dehumanize people when you don't value everyone as a creation of God. It's that simple. You can disagree with people all you want. I mean, that's fine.
Yeah.
But the moment you're able to dehumanize somebody, anything is possible. And we're seeing those kind of atrocities and that kind of hateful speech as well.
Yeah, I just, when I look at like the temperature of the room, everybody's been talking about the temperature. I feel like the temperature has definitely changed dramatically since the Charlie Kirk assassination, but I don't know if it's going in the right direction necessarily, because after this, I'm seeing a lot of people on the right are now going after each other, and then people on the right are mad that we're not going after the left. And I guess my whole point is, I don't know if we should be going after anybody right now.
I think, this is just my opinion, I think that anyone who calls themselves a believer in Jesus, anybody who calls themselves a Bible-believing Christian, should be looking for ways to bring people into God's kingdom, to share God's grace, God's salvation, because like we talked about a few minutes ago, we're on this earth, what, 70, 80 years, 90 if you're lucky? Yeah. Well, I have an idea. Why don't we be looking for eternity? Why don't we be making decisions in light of forever instead of, this is it right now. I just got to do it all. Instead of making long-term, life-changing decisions for eternity.
Yeah, so I agree. It's like we have a world disconnected from God. But how do we move on as a society, though, in your opinion, when you see the people that are like celebrating this horrible tragedy? What does that make you feel in your heart, Vic?
It's heartbreaking. It's frustrating, but at the same time, without any kind of moral guidance or foundation, it's not terribly surprising.
Yeah.
People that grow up with certain kind of moral values and ethics, they can't even believe, how could somebody do this, or how could somebody condone this, or how could somebody celebrate this? But if you just kind of make your own way and fly by the seat of your pants and do whatever you feel like doing, and whatever turns your boat at this moment in time, anything is possible. And I don't even know what the answer is apart from getting people to treat others as they would want to be treated.
Yeah, that was at the golden rule, but nobody
but
follows
it's
the golden.
simple.
I agree with that. I agree. But I would argue this:
as soon as you celebrate somebody being hurt or killed, I would encourage you. What if that were your little sister? What if that were your brother? What if it were your mom? And I agree
with that.
Put yourself in somebody else's shoes for once.
But I just had an epiphany. This is maybe why society is so bad. You said a very good statement that we should treat others how we would want to be treated. But we have a society that hates themselves. We have a society that is struggling with depression, struggling with anxiety.
Which is where God comes in. Because God says, you are not a piece of garbage. You are not an ape. You are a precious creation of mine. I created you with a purpose. I created you to do amazing things. And if you don't know that, if you just think you're, like you said, that you just evolved from pond scum, then you're never going to know what God had planned for you. You're never going to, and you're not going to see the inherent value in other people either.
What did you think about all the churches being, packed after Charlie's, horrible tragedy? Did you like that? I like that.
I appreciate anything that brings people closer to a relationship with God. I believe that with my whole heart, that every decision, every crime, everything, good and bad, starts in the heart of man. You can't legislate morality. You can't legislate out racism or prejudice or any of those things, because it all starts right here.
Well,
that's what needs to change.
I agree with you. I do agree with you. It's just, I look at like these young kids, and I go to a lot of these college campuses, and I can see why they're frustrated, because, the world is a very dark, scary place. And I think you know that, I know that, and it's not the same world that, we grew up in, Vic. The world has exponentially changed. In the world that we were living in on September 9th, 2025 is exponentially different than the world that we're living in, and, you know, September 10th or September 11th, you know, 2 days after the fact. It's a exponentially different world that we're living in. And the fact that the world and the timeline of events and if our future can change like that, because I am of the opinion, and I think a lot of people are of the same opinion, that Charlie Kirk would have been president of the United States. And that's not a stretch of the imagination whatsoever. And now we don't have that person that would have been probably the greatest, you know, leader of the youth movement of any political person ever, because now even the liberals and the Democrats like, well, we should start a student youth organization. Well, no shit, Sherlock. You guys should have been doing that a long time ago, but you guys are not dialed in. You're not as brilliant as Charlie Kirk. So I just, you know.
Well, they've got a lot of other people, you know, pushing their message.
That's what I'm saying. They don't need the student
Exactly.
groups like Turning Point. They have the damn professors and the damn administrators.
But you know what? And I don't even know if this is going to come out right, but none of this surprised God.
What's his plan, though, right?
None of it surprised him. He knew this was going to happen. It didn't catch him off guard. This was part of it. You know, I read this really interesting verse in Isaiah the other day, and it says, nobody pays any attention when a good man dies, but God has removed him from the evil world.
That's a fact. That is a fact that Charlie Kirk was too good for this world. He was too good of a human being for this evil world. But I mean, I don't understand God, though, sometimes why do the good ones die young? Why does this happen to Charlie when, no offense, there's a million other people this could have happened to and people would not have been as affected, but because it was Charlie and he was so instrumental and so, you know, he was just so effective in what he did, that's why this is such a big deal. And why do bad things happen to good people?
Well, and the scripture is full of passages where Jesus says, you know what? They hated me, so they're going to hate you.
Yeah.
It says it all over the place. And it talks about how we are not going to be friends of the world system. And you know, people that know what they believe, people that not necessarily cram it down other people's throats, but people who just speak eloquently and speak with a great deal of foundational confidence in what they believe, is really, to a lot of people, for whatever reason that I don't know, is kind of a threat.
I think you're right.
How dare you have it all figured out? You know what I mean? Like, I don't have it figured out. None of my friends have it figured out. Why should you have it all figured out? That makes me mad that you seem to have the answer to so many things.
I can see why that would upset people, especially if that answer is the opposite of the answer you want to hear. And that's what Charlie did, is he had tough conversations with young people that they probably didn't normally have. And that's why he was so effective in getting his point across, because he had these conversations that likely people are not going to go and just debate their friend, because like there's like a social stigma, there's certain social rules you have to follow. But he opened up that dialogue, and with that dialogue we can learn so much. It is so important. It sounds like cliche or whatever. What do you mean dialogue? You learn so much. People are actually waking up to different viewpoints by talking it out, by making themselves ask questions and answer those questions that they're asking for themselves. So
he gave them a microphone.
Exactly. He put them on. He gave them the chance.
Say what you have to say. I mean, how often do you hear that nowadays? Say what you have to say. Step up to the mic and speak your mind. Tell me what you believe. Tell me what you think. And then guess what? I'm going to tell you what I think, what I believe, and you decide for yourself, what seems right. I personally believe that every single human being, God has created us with a sense of right and wrong. Now, you can dull those senses. Mm-hmm. You can disregard those voices that say this is wrong. You shouldn't do this.
Pharmaceuticals, all kinds of stuff, alcohol.
But I think everybody has a sense somewhere inside of what is right and wrong. And they will either follow the good promptings or they'll follow the bad promptings. And the more you follow the bad promptings, the easier it is to just continue down that road and do worse and worse and worse.
Yeah, I agree. People know like shoplifting is not good. You don't need somebody to tell you that stealing is not
and
good.
You don't need a law.
Yeah.
You don't need a law to tell you that stealing is wrong, or that hurting somebody else is wrong. You don't need a government to tell you that. Everybody knows this stuff.
Well, and that's what Charlie fought for. He fought for less government control, and that's why he was such a great conservative. Now, I saw we just got a $20 super chat from Just Jacob, and we appreciate the money. And he says, everybody is laughing at Kimmel for the first time ever. So
That's a good joke, bro.
Did you hear
know,
what
honestly,
I said?
though, and just Jacob, I appreciate the donation, but I used to like the Man Show. I used to think Jimmy Kimmel was funny. There was a time when I used to actually like Jimmy Kimmel. Now he's terrible. He's so annoying. But I used to think of the Man Show when I grew up as a kid. I used to think Jimmy Kimmel was so funny, and now he just is not. And he, of course, said what is his rhetoric is obviously going to be negative against Charlie Kirk because he's such an establishment shill. But Charlie would have respected Jimmy's right to disagree with him more than Jimmy respects Charlie's. So let's see what he said. Let's play the saw it. And then is there breaking news?
Let's break it after the saw it. I sent it to you in your Twitter DM.
What did you send it to me? Okay, let's play the clip. And then what's the news? Did you text it to me?
We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it.
So he says the guy's now a conservative. And how does that even help his narrative, really? Jimmy Kimmel's trying to say it's a conservative taking out a conservative, trying to paint the conservative as a bad guy. But when in reality, any conservative loved Charlie Kirk. So it's just...
It makes no sense.
None.
Oh, yeah. The more you learn about this person, it's completely the opposite of any kind of a conservative position or MAGA. But you know what? Can we just step back? Murder's wrong.
Yeah. Duh.
Come on.
Yeah.
Forget Republican. I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I try to follow what I believe God would want me to believe and feel and stand for. And murder is wrong. It doesn't matter what political bent you affiliate with. It's wrong.
But there's something even more sinister with what he was saying in a way, and he's not saying this overtly, he's saying it covertly, is that basically any white guy with a gun is a MAGA Republican. And that's how society views, and that's done on purpose. You know, they want to view every white person as a villain or as a MAGA-loving conservative, when that's obviously not the case when we've seen, the text messages and, the information that we have so far. Once again, Jimmy Kimmel would never, ever be successful in this modern day era. Like, we would never talk about him unless he was saying retarded stuff like this. I don't know how else to describe it. So I guess I'm not shocked that he's going to take this opinion and take this position against Charlie Kirk. So
he's not going to be doing it anymore.
Platform.
What did you say, Jimmy? I didn't hear you. Were you
Disney just announced they are pulling Jimmy Kimmel off air indefinitely.
Wait, what?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't have my earpiece. Wait, you're telling me Jimmy Kimmel's done off Disney?
Yes.
He just came back from vacation, I believe.
Well,
he's going back.
Extended vacation, Jimmy.
I thought it was fake, but verified through a spokesperson.
Politics isn't funny. I mean,
it's not. I mean, unless you're making fun of politics.
If you're supposed to be a comedian, right?
Yeah.
If you're supposed to be a comedian, and all you want to do is push your political agenda, guess what? That's not funny.
I know.
Is it any surprise that these hosts who used to be funny or used to have an audience, the more they talk about this stuff, people don't want to hear that stuff. They want to be entertained. In fact, that's exactly the stuff they want to break from.
Yeah.
They don't want to tune in everywhere all the time and get that kind of stuff.
And people can always understand the bias and slant that people are putting out there. So, you can even understand it subliminally. So, Jimmy, he's done. This is breaking news. So is he technically fired, or what is
So it started with Nexstar, and then shortly after, Disney announced that they are suspending him indefinitely for inappropriate and offensive remarks.
But he's not fired, suspended indefinitely. What do you think is going to happen to him, Vic?
I don't know. Maybe it's a wake-up call. Who knows?
Do you think he could? Is this a fire? I think it's a fireable offense. What do you think? Do you think it's a fireable offense, or did they just do this to save face because it's Disney and they know the conservatives watch?
If I were an executive, I'd call him in and say, "Hey, Jimmy, for the love of God, be funny. Yeah. Will you please? Will you stop,
and not spread misinformation?
Will you stop pounding this drum of your political beliefs and opinions, and just be funny. Interview guests." Give some people something to tune out, to just enjoy, to give them a little break from the rest of this stuff in the world.
Well, no, he doubled down. So let's play SOT number 2. He actually is accusing Erica Kirk, who just lost her husband in the most graphic, tragic way possible. He's now accusing her of weaponizing her grief, which is just sick and disgusting. Let's hear what he had to say.
I don't understand you, Destiny.
Oh, wait, this is...
You have so much hatred in your heart.
Oh, this is
And at the
Destiny.
same
Okay,
time,
time
you
out.
suggest
Wait, stop real quick. I didn't realize this is a Destiny clip, so I blame this on Jimmy Kimmel. I feel like we shouldn't jump on the Destiny train real quick. I kind of want to wrap up the Jimmy Kimmel thought. He just said that the Trump shooter was a MAGA and basically kind of hand-waved it like it's not a big deal, and now he's losing his job at ABC, or he's suspended indefinitely. I don't know if that's suspended with pay or without pay, but financially I'm sure he's going to be fine. I think this is good news for us, but I don't want to gloat when anybody, loses their job, but I think this is a good thing.
Jimmy Kimmel needs Jesus.
Is
sorry.
Jimmy Kimmel Jewish?
He identifies as Catholic. He's not a very good one.
No,
he's a bad
I think
one.
a lot of people of the Catholic faith would be completely aghast to hear that, because it's not just, faith isn't just a word. Oh, I'm Catholic, I'm Presbyterian, I'm Methodist, I'm Baptist. No, what do you do?
Well,
how do you live? That's what matters.
He's a Joe Biden Catholic. That means they're pro-abortion Catholics. Doesn't even make sense. So,
well, I think people need Jesus. That's what
I hate abortion though too. I think abortion's really bad. Okay, now.
Do you want to do the ad read real quick before
Yeah,
Destiny?
and then we'll get into it. Oh, we love this, Vic. Okay, let's see if Vic can do it. Can you put the camera towards Vic, because you got to read the copy.
Well, he has to do the tell.
Oh, where are we going?
No, but you got to do this camera.
Here,
this
one?
camera. Yeah.
All
Okay.
right, ready? Uh-oh. Okay, I don't have my glasses on, so ready?
I'll help you.
Here we go. FS Protein, L3 Protein. The doctors over at Brickhouse Nutrition clued me in on why so many protein powders failed. You know why? Because they're loaded with poor quality protein and cheap fillers like maltodextrin, soy, syrup, sodium, corn, cellulose. If your protein powder isn't delivering results, it's time to switch to Brickhouse Whey Protein. It even feels good.
It's heavy.
This isn't some marketing gimmick, I promise. Brickhouse Whey is bioengineered by doctors, not marketers, and certainly not Alex back here. It's built on the latest science to give you results that you can actually feel. Professional level muscle growth and strength, a lean, toned physique, much like Alex, unbeatable energy, and rapid workout recovery. Plus, it's lactose free, so you won't deal with bloating or stomach upset, like Alex. So don't let junk protein sabotage your progress. Switch to Brickhouse Whey right now, today. Results are guaranteed or your money back. So go to thenewway.com and use promo code ALEX for 20% off. That's promo code ALEX at thenewway.com. Thenewway.com.
All right, dude, and thank you, guys. Jimmy, make sure to send them a bill for Vic Mignogna, famous voice artist.
For sure.
Or they could maybe send me a bunch of these.
Yeah, we will. And I actually
my
had
wife
used
would
this.
love this.
Yeah. Well, you can take that one. You can literally take that one. Do you like the chocolate?
Honey, did you hear that?
Please, the Brickhouse.
Guess what's coming home?
Well, the viewer, it's funny how you're making fun of my gas. My girlfriend gets mad, but I do like this because it doesn't give me gas. I don't know if I'm lactose intolerant, but if I do drink a bunch of dairy, I play the butt trumpet a little.
I didn't know that about
Yeah, that was true. It's for crazy that you know that.
It's confession time with Alex Stein.
I'm just saying, but it does help me. I don't want to get all too goofy, but it's actually good stuff that doesn't give you a bunch of gas. So if you guys need some protein, I suggest it. And we should take some protein. You're a fit guy. Do you take any protein?
I try. My wife is really, really good about that kind of stuff, and
does she make a shake every day?
Yeah, she does.
Oh, so she's on
it.
And
she'll make me one occasionally.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'd be great. I wish I were more disciplined about it.
I feel like you don't eat that much, Vic. Is that I feel like I've eaten dinner with you, and I guess you had a big plate of food, but do you eat? I've never seen you snack.
No.
That's saying I've never seen you eat a snack since you've been here.
I don't. Do you have snacks?
No, yeah, I believe it or not, we do. But I'm saying
I'll be back.
No, I swear.
I didn't see these snacks.
We have a craft service in the back. So Jimmy's never taken. Jimmy, you're fired. You've never taken Vic to craft service.
I'm
you
sorry.
love me.
I would have thought you would be eating you seem like you would eat candy or something, but I've never even seen you eat or I don't know, something. I feel like you might eat it. I don't know.
I do like some candies, but I try to avoid them because you get older.
Well, when you would go into the voice studio, don't they have craft service and all that stuff? You know, to eat some of that junk.
Some. Usually it's in vending machines, so you got to buy it.
Wow.
And certain things guck up your voice a little bit. You know what
That's
I mean?
what I'm saying. They have to
don't
be
wanna do that.
careful.
Yeah.
What is the best way, though? Because my buddy Tim Pool lost his voice. If you're trying to get your voice back, they say organic honey, but what is the real trick?
Well, water.
That's it?
Lots of water all the time.
It's
water.
all about
And
hydration?
and I'm really bad at this. My wife is always trying to remind me, drink more water. But water, yeah, man.
Well, that's a simple thing, guys. You need to drink more water, and I just worry about that because I was losing my voice. What was
And Alex, you got another $20 super chat from Soul Native.
What did Soul Native say?
Said, we love you, Alex. Can you give us a backstory on you crashing the stage and wanting to smell Charlie Kirk?
I wanted to vaccinate Charlie Kirk. Yeah, so that video was from AmericaFest in 2022, and there's actually, I don't even want to get into the sad part of the story. Should I get into the sad part of the story?
Well, yeah, because people like
No, but it's
the
not
funny
sad in a
side.
good way. It's not sad in a good way.
Oh.
So, you guys know my bestie, Tim Pool, we're boys, but this is kind of when Tim and I first started to become good friends, and this is 2022, and we're hanging out, and Tim's like, I want you to like rush the stage while I'm doing my podcast with Charlie, and like, don't be mean to Charlie, but mess with Charlie, or Tucker was on it too. Tucker was Charlie, Tucker, Steve Bannon, and Ian, and Luke Rudkowski. And so he's like, just come and, joke around, just kind of, basically interrupt the interview for a second, just as a gimmick. And Charlie was like, yeah, that'd be funny. Why not? We'll just kick him out. It'll be a joke. It'll be funny. So what we did was Charlie approved it. Tim asked Charlie. Charlie approved it. Charlie went to the security and told the security, hey, let Alex pass the gates. And the security was like, what? Are you sure? And Charlie's the boss. He runs the show. He's actually a hands-on boss. And I believe, one of Charlie's many executives too, I think, told them to let Alex, run on. It's a gimmick. I went with the security guard. We went to this part of the curtain where I was going to run out from, and the security guard and I were both laughing. She's like, I can't believe we're going to do this. She was like this, vivacious, African-American woman, very nice. And this is where the story gets bad. She's a nice African-American woman. We do the bit. It ends. I don't even think anything of it. The video does okay, gets a few views. And then like a week later, Tim calls me. He's like, man, I feel bad, Alex. Feel bad about what? I'm not even thinking about that. This is like a week later. I'm not even thinking about AmFest. He's like, that security guard got fired. Yes, even though it was planned, the security company which she worked for, they didn't like that she let me do that. So I don't talk about that story very much. Tim and I don't like that story. I don't think Charlie likes it either.
That's unfortunate, yeah.
I think she was fine. I do think, and I'm not just saying this to save face, I think Tim talked to the security guard. I think she ended up getting her job back. I do think so. But she did get fired. But I think she got her job back. And I know I should probably follow up on the fact, did she get her job back? But I know Tim raised all kinds of hell when she got fired. He was yelling at me about it. And yeah, I don't know why we had to bring up this story.
$20 super chat. We have to read them.
Yeah, and that, the inside baseball. That's the real. But I do think she did. Now I'm remembering it. I believe that Tim got her to get her job back, but she did get fired temporarily. It was a bad deal.
I thought you were going to say that when you came off that she was mad about the bit that you did.
No, she thought it was funny. She was the one that wrestled me back. Like the whole bit was she was there, but then she came after me too, and she's the one that kicked me out. So it wasn't like making her look bad. Like I thought she looked fine. She kicked me out of the event, but I guess they didn't like.
Did they know it was staged?
Yes.
Did
Well,
bosses know it was
I don't think the
staged?
bosses knew it was staged at first. I think they just saw the video, and then when they found out that it was staged, then they were kind of mad at her for even participating. But then I think we raised enough hell where the woman ended up getting her job back, working for the event services at that building. That was at the convention center in Phoenix. So I do believe that she gets to still work events there, but I don't like anybody to lose their job. So yeah, thank you for the $20 super chat. I don't even know why we're taking super chats right now. Like a guy that I looked up to a lot just recently passed away, and I'm kind of going through a whole range of emotions right now. And so I want to laugh, I want to joke around, but I'm really having trouble finding that funny bone inside me right now.
Well, then you'll appreciate this new super chat.
What is it?
From Mr. Joseph. Alex, I just wanted to say that your Charlie Kirk parody made me a bigger fan of both you and Charlie Kirk. Love the contrast between the legend and the parody. Love you, Vic. I watched FMA every week in 2005 with my bro.
Oh my gosh, thank you.
Well, why is Full Metal Alchemist? Why did that resonate with people so much?
Well, it's just a powerful story. It's a story of, honestly, it's a story of sacrifice. It's a very relatable story. The characters are amazing. The story is just really profound and compelling. And I had done 30 or 40 anime series before Full Metal.
Yeah.
And when that one came along and I ended up getting cast in it, I started getting messages from fans about it. And I thought, wow, that never happened before.
That was the first one where they're like, oh, I want to look up who this is.
Exactly. They were so invested in that show.
Oh, real quick. Oh, I want to, hold on. Cassidy, I'm live on the air, and I'm with Vic Mignogna. He's telling a great story. But Cassidy, you're on the air. Cassidy, you were at the event with Charlie.
Yep.
He was
I was there.
Yes, and I'll call you after the show. But we're talking about Charlie right now. I just can't.
Gotcha.
I can't believe you were actually there, dude.
Yeah, no, it's insane, dude. It's pretty scary.
It is really scary. All right, well, I just wanted to pick up, but I do need to talk to you, so I'll call you after the show, and Vic was telling a great story.
Sounds like a plan.
All right, peace. All right, bye. Yeah, so talking about, sorry, he was at the event.
It was a very popular show even before it was dubbed.
Yeah.
And any top 10 list I've ever seen of like the top 10 anime of all time.
All Full Metal
Full Metal is always on that list.
Because it has such a cult following. Every time you come on, it's like so many messages about Full Metal. I mean, it really resonates.
Well, and it has nothing to do with me. It's just an amazing show in every way.
That's lucky that you get, casted on that show, even though it's hard to do that, yeah. But it is nice but do all the stuff that's obviously not all the stuff that's successful overseas is going to be successful in America.
No, in fact, there's this one show that I did that somebody may even comment in the chat. I did this show called Oron High School Host Club.
Okay.
And it was just about these high school kids at this kind of high society, fancy high school, private school.
Like a boarding school.
Yeah, and the boys created this club to entertain the girls. And by entertain, I mean like, oh, princess, you're so beautiful. My heart just swells at the sight of you. And just gushing over the girls. And it's such a funny show. And it didn't do that well in Japan.
Okay.
But when it was dubbed, it got a lot of popularity. And
Here in America?
A lot of people love that show. And I do too. It's a great show.
Well, gosh, we need to see it. I mean, I didn't watch enough anime or cartoons. Brandon is our in-house anime expert. He's a Full Metal Alchemist stan. He loves that show. Okay, let's get a little dialed in. I can't believe the shows are already halfway over. We have We have a lot of live viewers. Thank you for all the new viewers that are watching tonight. I hate to say this, but please hit the like button. It'll help more people see this show. We appreciate it. We have a few thousand people watching right this minute. And I know a lot of people obviously want us to talk about Jimmy Kimmel and talk about Charlie, which is on all of our minds. And I hate to talk about this next person. I don't really hate anybody except for Hitler. I do hate Hitler. Destiny. You're not familiar with this guy, Destiny, are you?
No.
We have to cover him. So let me just give you a little backstory on Destiny. Destiny is one of the most controversial people, and he considers himself a left-wing progressive, but he doesn't hold all the left-wing progressive views. I don't know how to explain it. Like he's not Free Palestine, which is typically a progressive move, and so he has some tinge of maybe conservative or moderate opinions, but a very small amount. Most of his opinions are very left-leaning, and he has weaponized, and we use that word weaponized, but I don't know how else to describe it. When the Trump assassination happened, he weaponized Ashley Babbitt's murder, and now this horrible murder of Charlie Kirk, he's weaponized this, and he is accusing Erica Kirk, Charlie's wife, the mother of Charlie's kids, of somehow using this horrible tragedy to benefit her whatsoever, when there's no benefit when your husband gets brutally murdered in front of millions of people. So there's really nothing that she could do that would ever be considered beneficial from this horrible tragedy. But Let's play SOT number 2. I want to see what he has to say, and then I want to get your opinion on it, Vic.
I don't understand you, Destiny. You have so much hatred in your heart, and at the same time, you
it's such a simple thing. If you're going to
hateful.
weaponize somebody's grief against the other party, well, then of course people have a right to fight back against it. I think that she has every right to grieve in whatever way she wants, but when that grief is going to be weaponized to do recruitment, political recruitment, and further radicalization of the other side, then of course you not only have the ability to mock it, I think you have the obligation to mock it. It's insane.
Let me understand. Let me understand your argument. So since others are using her grief to politically recruit, you think that it's okay to mock her specifically?
Since others are using her grief, she's the one who gave a 17-minute speech on TV where she talked about good versus evil. She's the one showing up in TPUSA ads to 1 or 2 days after.
If someone assassinated my husband, assassinated my husband, I would not be able to have the level of composure she had during that speech. Yep. I would be out for blood. I understand why she's angry and why she said the things that she said. Okay, you need to understand what being a human is.
Anna Kasparian.
Exactly.
She nailed it.
Exactly. And you know what? If something like that were to happen to Destiny's mom, or Destiny's wife, or girlfriend, or sister,
or boyfriend.
See, this is the problem. People, they don't put themselves.
Well, he's bisexual.
Whatever.
Yeah.
If it happened to somebody he cared about, he would feel very differently. He would have a very different opinion. In fact, I honestly believe a lot of these kind of situations, if people were to just put themselves, just for a minute, guys, put yourselves in the shoes of the other person or the other person's family, you would have a completely different perspective.
No, you're right. But Destiny does, he says stuff that is inflammatory on purpose. And I saw we got a $50 super chat from PP.
The guy he said, no, you're scared to debate Destiny.
I've debated Destiny, and that's why he's put me on a blacklist. I've tried to debate Destiny multiple times since. If you can go look up, we have a legendary debate, Alex Stein versus Destiny, on sexuality and morality, and just go look it up. I basically call him a cuckold for 3 hours straight. It was absolutely, this is real. He was in an open marriage where his wife had an OnlyFans, and he had an open marriage, and he was bisexual, and while he was married to his wife, this is all kosher, he would sleep with men and women. And then he recently is in hot water because he shared some revenge porn of a person that he was intimate with.
Sounds like a quality human being.
I know. It's a top quality, top shelf.
Zero foundational morals, zero foundational ethics, zero foundational human dignity and respect for human life.
He's disgusting.
Which takes me back to what I said at the very beginning. If you don't have a relationship with your Creator, and you don't have any foundational sense of right and wrong, and understand your place in the world as a creation of God and how you're to relate and interact with other people, this is the result.
Well, you know what's crazy about all this? He has a 16 or 17-year-old son that now has a big online presence, and his son has a totally different opinion politically than his dad. Isn't that crazy? So his son is right-leaning, a little too far right-leaning, if you ask me. I mean, very far right, but still opposite of his dad.
Well, isn't it possible that maybe he sees where all of those choices has brought his, he's seen them played out in his family's life.
And he wants to go a different direction. No, and you don't even know the situation, and I think that is an astute observation. But now, let's play SOT number 3. And Jack Posobiec is really going through it. I feel bad for him. He was really close with Charlie, and he's been, forced, or obviously he's willingly has to go on this, defend his best friend, one of his best friends. It's just hard because he's a lot closer to the situation than Destiny, and Destiny can just argue and do ad hominem attacks and do whatever because he didn't lose his best friend. So it's just a tough position for Jack. So let's play SOT number 3.
Every single moment of that future that they had was gone because someone fired a bullet at Charlie Kirk that said, "Hey, fascist, catch." And now you have people celebrating it. And when you ask people
That's
about
not even
it,
the
they
bullet
say,
that was fired. How are you lying about this?
Gut up. Destiny,
Holy
shut up.
shit,
Good
you're so
heavens.
shameless,
up.
dude. Oh my God. You're not even inside the right bullet. You're such a disgusting
Piers.
piece of shit.
right
Holy
bullet?
fuck.
What a
Here's-
pedantic
Are we-
point. What a
are we
It's not
even gonna do
pedantic.
this?
The guy's a fucking professional
It's total
liar.
pedantry.
He's
It's total
epic base.
pedantry. Total
This guy
pedantry.
probably
I
fucking...
I would like to let
Jesus.
Jack. I would like to let Jack finish his point, please.
Yeah,
and
it's just
and
rant
they'll
here,
claim
yeah.
there's no leftist connection. They'll claim there's no there and then go so far as to lie and say there's some kind of Christian conservative connection when you could see the writing on the bullet casings.
Yeah, and that's what Destiny does. He wants to argue semantics. Like he's trying to call Jack Posobiec a liar for not describing the exact bullet, even though we know all 4 bullets had all of these weird messages on them. So, I mean, regardless of the bullet that went in, every bullet had a message. So, it's just ridiculous. He wants to argue semantics and call Jack Posobiec a liar who just lost one of his best friends. So, I mean, Destiny's
let's just derail the conversation with pointless details.
That's what I'm saying.
Pointless.
That's what he was
Pointless
trying to do.
details.
That's what and when a guy was getting obviously emotional, trying to let out that angst and anxiety and stress and all of those that emotional ball that he is feeling inside him, he has his chance to talk on Piers Morgan when you only it's very segmented. You only get a minute to talk, and he has to go interrupt him and call him wrong because of the way that he described the bullet. I mean, it's just he's an evil, sick, disgusting person.
He would feel very differently, I believe, if it were somebody he loved or cared about.
Yeah.
And people's inability to connect with other people. I don't want to get off on this tangent, but I feel like this is a good place to mention this. Years and years ago, there was this push for tolerance.
Mm-hmm.
Tolerance.
Yeah.
It's all about tolerance. Tolerate people who are different.
When was
from
this?
you.
The 90s? Because you see those bumper stickers.
20, for the
so-
last 2 or 3 decades.
Yeah.
Definitely 2 decades.
Tolerant, that famous, bumper sticker.
Yeah, in fact, I wrote a song for a project
Yes.
that a friend of mine created called Voices for Tolerance.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm for tolerance. I don't think you should hurt people that disagree with you. And so my question is this: what happened to tolerance, guys? The very people who were screaming tolerance, tolerance, are in many ways the most intolerant people in today's world.
No, I think
They refuse to have a conversation. They dehumanize people they disagree with. And why is your opinion any more valuable than mine? Right? I mean, like, you have an opinion about something, I have an opinion about something. Let's say they're different. Well, why is yours better than mine? Why do you feel somehow some kind of justification in hurting me because we disagree? What if everybody felt that way? You know what if they did, Alex? There'd be nobody on the planet.
they would.
There would be no human beings left.
But that actually kind of is a good segue. So this is what he's saying. Destiny is saying conservatives should live in fear. Imagine if we did live in fear, like you're saying. So let's play SOT number 4. I want to see what he says. Right here.
You need conservatives to be afraid of getting killed when they go to events so that they look to their leadership to turn down the temperature. The issue is right now, they don't feel like there's any fear.
See, that's what he wants. He wants everybody to be scared to death. That's what he is begging for. That's what he's hoping for, Vic. How does that make you feel?
If you could go back in time
Mm-hmm.
and sit with the founding fathers and say, you know what, guys? Don't even waste your time.
Is that what you tell him? I don't know if I tell him.
No. Let me say where I'm going.
Okay.
Don't even waste your time, because 200 years from now, people are going to twist the idea of freedom.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to think that it means what they want and anything they want, and anybody else is fair game. It's open season on anybody that disagrees with you. That's not freedom. And back when this country was founded, there was a much greater sense of morality. There was a much deeper sense of foundational values. And that's why they could write this document to create this country, because it was predicated on the idea of personal responsibility. Personal responsibility. I don't have to worry about you doing crazy, outrageous, immoral, unethical, criminal things, because you're a person who has some sense of value. But over the decades and centuries now, That has been pushed away and pushed away and pushed away, like we talked about earlier. Does it surprise anybody that you can push legislation and try your very best to drive prayer, Bible reading, 10 Commandments, God, any mention of that, drive it out of the culture, and look at where we are now? Is it any surprise to anybody?
Well, I mean, I think it literally goes back to the Pilgrims. I mean, what were they coming to America for? You know, a religious freedom. I mean, so I think that this country was based on having faith in God. That's why people were coming here, so that they could practice their spirituality freely. And that is the basis of the foundation of this country, and we've lost that foundation.
Well, a lot of people hate the truth. Mm-hmm. For a lot of people, truth is very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
the truth is usually harder to hear than the fake stuff.
And you know what, though? But you know what, Alex? Honestly, I thought about this, and I wanted to ask you this. Let's say you knew somebody was driving their car down a dark road at night with no lights, and you knew that at the end of that road, there's a cliff.
Okay, yes. I would tell the person, do not drive on that road.
Would you tell them you hate their speech and you hate their choices? No. You would try to stop them.
Yes.
Because you know that there's
Danger
death
ahead.
and danger and doom at the end of that drive. So for people to speak up about truth, about things that they genuinely believe are good things. You know what the gospel, people call the Bible the gospel?
Yes.
You know what that word means?
To sing?
No. It means good news.
Oh, the gospel.
Literally, good news. And being rescued from being a slave to these kind of evil passions and desires and drives is a good thing. Mm-hmm. And it's a gift for everybody. It's an open gift to anyone that receives it.
But you know what's sad when you bring up the slavery stuff is that we actually live in a society where slavery is still going on in Libya. There's slaves in China. So it's like we think that we are this moral good, that humanity is morally good, and I'd like to think that. But now I'm starting to realize that humanity is probably satanic and demonic.
I believe in what is called the duality of man. Mm-hmm. Mankind was created in the image of God. What does that mean? Well, it means that we have a soul, we have a spirit, and we have a sense of right and wrong, like we talked about. You know when you're doing something wrong.
Yes, you do.
You don't need a government or a law enforcement agency to tell you that. Exactly.
Yeah.
But I believe that over the course of time, a lot of people have desensitized themselves to wrongdoing and evil. So it doesn't even seem, there's a scripture passage that talks about what in the end times, what is good is bad, what is right is wrong. Things are going to be completely flipped on their heads. And I honestly believe that's where we are.
Well,
and by the way, when I said slavery, I'm talking about slavery to sin. I'm talking
but you just bring that up.
I'm talking about people that are slaves to their passions.
I know you didn't mean the literal slavery, but in my head, I'm just thinking slavery still exists.
But I think this is even a more difficult slavery to overcome. Yeah. A slavery within yourself, being a slave to your own passions and your own rage and your own frustrations and anxieties. That's the slavery that Jesus came to rescue us from.
Yes, I agree. And I was just watching a Charlie clip, and he was talking about how one of his favorite Bible verses is John 10:10, and in this one he says, "The thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy. I have come that they may have life and have it to the fullest." There's different interpretations of it, but that is kind of the message of Charlie that I think we should try to adopt as a society. Is that they're going to try to kill us, steal from us. They're going to try to harm us, but we just have to have faith, and we have to not, give in to the tragedy that we know it's going to happen. It's like from this Charlie thing, like nobody could have expected this, nobody could have saw this, but I know that Charlie would want us to continue fighting. But it's just I'm still in that kind of in between period where I'm not necessarily ready to go fight, but I know I will be eventually.
And you know what? I'm sure you would agree with this. Never in a billion lifetimes would Charlie want to hurt somebody who disagreed with him.
Yeah.
And therein lies the difference. You know what? You know how children when, as a parent, you say, this is what you're going to do, this is what's right, because you know better, right? You know what the deal is. And children, when they can't intellectually match you, what do? They throw tantrums. They jump up and down and scream and break toys. This is kind of the adult version of that, When you don't have an answer, when you can't just discuss a difference of opinion with somebody intellectually, maturely, humanely, you throw a tantrum. You get angry and frustrated because you can't discuss it rationally.
It's an impulsive reaction of anger. But where do we go from here? Because I want to pull up full screen number 2. So today, Glenn Beck, the patriarch of the Blaze, he co-hosted and filled in for Charlie. They've had all of Charlie's friends come fill in for him. And today there was a shocking announcement, which Glenn actually handled it really well. I don't know if you have the clip, but he was like, "Oh, it's not a big deal." But supposedly, at Charlie's memorial today at Turning Point headquarters, somebody went and put a random box and tried to imply that it was a bomb today. So my question to you is this going to are things speeding up? Is there going to be more political violence, or will this slow down the political violence? Because I'm worried that there's going to be copycat type stuff. And I'm going to go on campus. I'm not necessarily worried about me, but I'm worried about like copycat on both sides. I'm worried about a conservative person getting mad and wanting to get, justice. I'm worried about, a left. I'm just worried about it because people are very affected by this. And I don't want people to make impulsive decisions that really are not going to be beneficial for them and not beneficial for society overall.
I hate to sound like a broken record, but I believe the answer is the same as I've said 4 or 5 times now. The answer is never going to be found in politics. It's never going to be found in social justice. It's certainly never going to be found in violence.
Yeah.
It's only going to be found when people come face to face with their Creator and realize that all of us are precious creations of God, and we need to respect, and even if we disagree, at least honor people's right to disagree.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
I don't think it's going to get better. Honestly, I hate to sound like a naysayer, but the Bible teaches pretty clearly that things are not going to get better, Alex. They're going to get worse, and so far it's proving to be true.
It is proving to be very true. Now, I didn't really think about this question before, but it brought up because when Destiny and Jack were talking about the bullets and some of the messaging on the bullets, and one of the messages, I never played this game, is called Helldivers 2, and it's supposedly like the fascist version of Call of Duty. I guess it's more of like a liberal, or they just, however the people that interpret it as being more left-leaning game. And they always have the PSYOP, the psychological operation that video games are encouraging kids to shoot more people. I don't know if that's necessarily true, but as a person that's voiced video games and been in cartoons, do you think video games and stuff like that, like this guy putting a video game meme, does that have any responsibility for the violence?
Well, my wife and I were talking about this the other day, and we were talking about how so many video games, of course.
See, I would have thought it was stupid.
Right?
I would have used to be like, no, a video game probably doesn't do that. But now I'm like, maybe.
Well, but think about the sheer volume of video games. I mean, nowadays gaming is such a big deal, and the graphics are so realistic.
Yeah.
And what do you do in most of these games?
You're living in a fantasy world.
Well, what do you do?
You scroll on the screen.
What else? How do you win? How do you fight?
Kill people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You shoot people.
Yeah, it's true.
There it is.
That is true.
And for all the talk about guns, look at the movies.
Yeah.
All the movies.
Well, all the gamers in the chat are getting mad. They're like, don't blame gaming. And I'm not saying that you game, you're just going to go make you shoot people. But I just feel like maybe there is some sort of subliminal programming when we're playing every game, and every popular game, you're shooting people. And then actually, the first person shooter that was ever created, this is not a conspiracy, look it up, was created by the government. They used to send it out as a free trial if you were interested in joining the military. And I think it was on like Sega, or it was a PC game. It was a PC game. Look it up, Jimmy. First PC game, first-person shooter created by the government. It used to be free.
Can I say something to the gamers?
Yes.
That are watching right now? It's not the games so much. It's the danger that if a person is heavily impressionable and they don't have any real foundational values of their own, and they're looking for things to find value in and purpose, the fear is and the danger is that all of these games where you just run around killing people or stealing cars or whatever, it has the potential of desensitizing people to the reality of doing wrong. Did you ever notice how so many games you're doing things that are illegal? Isn't that funny? It's like you don't do them in the real world, but you can pretend to do these horrible things in these game settings. Not all of them, of course. We're not painting with a broad brush. But I think the concern is that it can desensitize people that are heavily impressionable. And that's absolutely, I think it's absolutely true.
Well, Jimmy, what did you just say in my ear?
So the game is called America's Army, and it was created in 1999 to explicitly encourage shooting and serve as a recruitment tool. That's pretty wild.
You didn't know that, Jimmy, did you?
What did it say?
No, I didn't. I wasn't allowed to play video games.
The first-person shooter game that ever came out for PC or whatever, I think this is like in the era of Doom and stuff was coming out. You remember how big a game Doom was when it first came? That was like the first computer. That was a big, huge deal. Everybody knew about that game. The military would give it out for free, would mail it to people that were interested in joining the military.
Really?
Yes, it was a free video game. You couldn't even buy it. You had to, you had to get it through the military.
Wow.
Whatever how the recruitment offices. That's how you get it. So there is something weird, and they're like, why did they design the game? The game was designed specifically to have, realistic situations that you would potentially go into the military. So if they're using it as a recruitment tool to potentially get people to join the military, that would kind of desensitize them to the idea of maybe shooting random strangers. Maybe there is something to do with this video game stuff and causing this harm. I mean, I'm not blaming it on the video games. It's the shooter. It's not the gun's fault. I'm just saying it's a amalgamation of things.
Well, this is another perfect example. There's somebody out there right now who's like,
we've lost 400 viewers since we said bad stuff about video games.
Did you really?
Yeah. We were at 3,000. Now we're at 2,600.
Okay.
Yeah, all because of video games.
This is a perfect example.
Yeah.
Somebody or several people are like, I like video games. Click.
Yeah.
You can like video games.
Exactly. You can still
Let
like video games.
people have an opinion for crying out loud.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you want people to respect your opinion? Of course you do. It's common sense. A 5-year-old can answer that question. Then you respect people's opinions. Well, just let people have a difference of opinion.
I agree. We shouldn't even want to have the same opinion. Then we'd all be drones. But Aaron Makita corrected me. Aaron Makita said Helldivers 2, that somebody wanted to put some sort of transgender stuff in it and that they didn't. So it looks like Helldivers 2 is not a left-wing game. I don't know. I'm getting so much misinformation on the internet. And that's one thing I want to say that, and I know a lot right now, there's so many conspiracy theories going around. You guys know I'm the resident conspiracy theorist here at The Blaze, and I love conspiracies. But right now, I'm not going to engage in any of them. I'm not going to jump to any conclusions. I'm just going to, trust but verify? Is that what they used to call it?
Yes.
I just want to be very careful, and I want to caution you guys too, because a lot of what's being said on the internet right now, some real, some fake, it gets mixed together, and with stats, people can lie. With facts, people can lie. And I'm not calling anybody particularly a liar. I'm not even taking a shot. I'm just saying right now, guys, let's not jump to any conclusions. That's all I'm asking of you. And you guys do whatever you want. But it's not about respect. It's not even, and we should respect Charlie, but I'm just saying it is the pragmatic thing to do right now is to not jump to conclusions and wait and see if the federal government will give us the answers that we deserve. I don't have the most faith in that. I don't have, the utmost faith, but I'm not going to start ringing any alarm bells. I'm just going to wait and see how this plays out, because just watching that video of Charlie's killer in his bond hearing just made me absolutely sick. And this, sadly, is going to be a thing that is going to last. And I've been wrong about so much stuff, I don't know, but I think this is going to be a thing that lasts years and years and years and years with his trial and everything. So we have a lot of time to kind of decipher and figure things out before we go on the internet and start fighting with each other.
Well, faith in the government, faith in politicians is misplaced faith. It's that simple. Because the fact of the matter is, they're just people. They're just flawed human beings like everybody else. And it's horribly misplaced to put your faith and trust in the government or or an agency, or even or a politician. I mean, goodness gracious.
Maybe Taylor Swift, right? No, but actually, I made the Taylor Swift joke. Really, you could kind of put your faith in a guy like Charlie that actually had integrity, and he's gone. So, that's why Charlie was better than a politician, because he wasn't owned by his, even though he ran a nonprofit, he just was not owned by the same people that these politicians are owned by. So, really sad situation, absolutely tragic. My heart is still in a lot of pain, as well as yours. The people that are watching, we really appreciate that. Everybody, thank you for joining. And did we miss any super chats, Jimmy? I think I saw some guy complaining we missed a super chat.
No, it was $1.90. It was a $2 super chat.
Well, we feel bad. What was his name? Let's shout out his name at least.
Ghosts of Mr. P.
We're not here to make money right now. We don't need money. I saw, a friend of the show, Aaron Amolte, was getting mad that he didn't hit the goal the other day, and I gave him some grief last night on the episode. And what I was saying is, I thought, Aaron, if maybe you'll get this clip, I thought it was insensitive that you were upset that you didn't hit the goal on a day that was so tragic. But it is what it is. I'm not here to judge you. I would debate you on that, though. Okay, Vic, thank you for joining us.
I have something to say.
Oh, please, the floor is yours.
I just want to say to all of you, I just want to ask you, please, to consider inviting Jesus into your life. It will change you for the better. I can promise you that. And if you gave your life to Christ and you spent your life following His will for you, and you die and it turns out that Christianity was a big myth, you've lost nothing. But if Christianity is true, think about all you lose. And if you don't have that and I'm not talking about the kind of Christianity that says, cut your hair, go to church, wear decent clothes, put on a tie, stop piercing yourself. I'm not talking about that Christianity.
Well, all that stuff did
that kind of stuff that really turns a lot of people off. I'm talking about a personal relationship with Christ. He paid a price for every one of us, all of us, every single one of us, paid a price that we could not pay so that we could regain connection to God and become part of His family. And if you've not done that, I just want to invite all of you. Alex and I have never talked about this, but if you have not done that, I want to pray and ask that you would open your heart to a relationship with Jesus, because it will change you for the better.
No, I agree, and I'm sorry, it's such a poignant thing. I want to say I was baptized. I am a Christian, and this is the thing: is that having faith in God. People talk about it. Jesus died so we can all get into heaven, so we can all get there. So that's why I think Jesus is so important. I know a lot of people, there's a certain country that don't really like Jesus that much, but
they like Him fine, but he's part of their, they kind of roll Him in with their own,
they don't give Him the credit that He deserves.
But you know what? A lot of people are probably out there going, oh, there goes Vic again, trying to talk about Jesus and talk about. Can I just point something out, Alex? If you knew that right outside this building, there was a guy handing out $100 bills.
Yes.
I mean,
I need one.
Giving them to anybody that came up, right? And you come in here, but you don't say a word. Not to your buddies back there, not to your production team.
That'd be selfish.
Exactly. What a horrible person would you be to be given this beautiful gift? Hey, guys, there's somebody out there handing out $100 bills. Go get one. The gospel's the same. It is good news. It is freedom in Christ. And what kind of a horrible person would know that there's this beautiful gift that is as available to you and him and you as it is to anyone else, and not tell people about it? So any of you out there that wonder, why do these Christians are always talking about, how come they're always pushing there? Because we believe it's good news. We believe it is who we were meant to be. And we would be horrible people not to share it.
And I love that. And Charlie shared it best. All right, guys, that's our show.
We did miss one super chat from Ella Elric. Basically, she says, it ticks me off if they try to cancel you, Vic. I still have a picture from MegaCon 2009 and one of views. Thank you so much. Means a lot.
They have pictures with you in 2009. They love you.
Oh, my goodness.
Vic, where can they find you and support you? I know you got a lot of events coming up.
I just got done shooting a movie, actually, that is kind of fun. It's like a horror movie. It's really fun.
Okay, I like that. I like that.
Rubber suit monster, the whole works. It's great,
Okay.
great, like a B movie.
But no Star Wars or Star Trek or
Nope.
anything. This is
nope.
okay.
Nope. That, and then I've got several events coming up. You can check out my social media.
Monday, the motivational Mondays are great.
Yeah, I release a devotional every Monday for the week. I would love for you to check those out. They're on all my social media. You don't have to buy anything. You don't have to subscribe. It's just something to hopefully encourage and uplift your day. And then any events that I'm going to be doing, appearances, will be announced on my social media pages. So please check it out. If you see one near you that I'm going to be at, please come and say hello. It'd be great to meet you.
And Vic is very approachable. I know he is a superstar voice actor, and he's been on critically acclaimed projects. He's actually a pretty laid-back guy, very nice guy, very approachable. All right, guys, that's been our show. We will see you tomorrow night. I think we got some barstool drama, and obviously we'll be covering any late or breaking news. And bye-bye, Jimmy Kimmel. Looks like you're going to be off the air. Have a fun vacation. Anything you want to say to Jimmy?
No.
That's been our show. Thanks, guys. Good night.